Hey, how's it going? It's Martin. Today I want to talk a little bit about how important a headshot is for an actor. Okay? So you're an actor, or you're just starting out and you're getting into it and you want to become an actor. Well, the first thing that you should always do when you're getting into acting is get a professional headshot. This does not mean have your friend take a picture. This does not mean take a selfie of yourself and try to Photoshop out the background. People can tell. There's a huge difference between having a photographer who knows what they're doing and specializes in headshots and having someone who just has a professional camera. There's lighting, there's expression, there's body position, there's lens choice, there's all kinds of different very tiny details that all subconsciously influence how we interpret a headshot. And I just want to talk a little bit about how important it is and what goes through the mind of someone who's looking at your headshot when they see you have either a professional one or an unprofessional one, okay? So let's start out. Let's pretend that you did a professional photo and you posted it on your casting networks page, your Facebook page, you got it printed, all of that, and you paid to have a professional headshot done. What is going through the mind of someone who's looking at that? Well, as a casting director, I'm sitting here looking at a photo and I'm saying, wow, this person invested in their career, okay? They cared enough to spend the money on a professional photo. I'm also looking at it saying, wow, this person looks like someone that I might be able to bring in for that role. They look the part, okay? Another thing that I might be saying when I'm looking at it is, well, this person, obviously, if they care enough to invest in a professional photo or they got a good one done and they look confident in their photo, obviously they know what they're doing as an actor. They're established enough to know that they need a headshot, and they're also established enough to know what type of expression and what type of look to focus on in their photo. I'm also looking at it going, well, this person obviously also knows what their brand is or what type of character they play well because they're showing that in their headshot. Those are some of the things that go through the mind of someone when they actually see that you have a professional photo. Now, from your perspective, a really cool reason to pay for a really nice professional headshot as an actor is if you're spending at least like $400, $500, $600 on a headshot or more, this is crazy how this works, but I have a whole website on this stuff. You can go to bensonconsulting.com, BENTSEN, bensonconsulting.com, and learn more about the subconscious mind. But basically what you're doing when you spend money on something that's really important, you're sending a unconscious signal to your unconscious part of your brain. And I like to think that the unconscious part of your brain is way more, it controls a lot more of your life than your conscious part. The unconscious part is kind of like the part that gives you emotions. It makes you happy, makes you sad. It determines whether or not you like to eat certain types of foods. It makes you feel uncomfortable if you don't want to do something or embarrassed. That part of your brain kind of controls everything, almost in a sense. Think of it as like it has a leash on us and we walk around all day thinking that we're in charge, but really we're not. So if you can find a way to influence your subconscious mind, you can find a way to influence your entire world. And that is what spending money on something like a headshot will do. If you get out of this mindset of, I have to get my headshot done for free or for cheap or whatever, and instead you actually invest the money into a headshot, you're going to send an unconscious signal that you would not otherwise be able to send. There's no way that you could send this signal. You send this signal to your brain that says, my career is important enough to invest in. I am going to take my career serious now. I'm going to put in the effort. It basically lights a fire under your ass to get moving because I just spent $600, $700, $800 on my headshot. I need to make that headshot work for me, okay? And it's the same thing when you invest in, say, a class or a course. You're here, let's say, watching these YouTube videos for free, but that's not sending that unconscious signal to your unconscious mind. You're excuse me, you're essentially by watching things for free, you're telling your brain that this information is interesting to know, but I don't need to take action on it. Okay? Now, remember, there's a huge difference between understanding something consciously and understanding it unconsciously. You can only understand something unconsciously by actually doing it, by like spending the money on a headshot, or by spending the money for a course to teach yourself marketing tips for actors or whatever, right? You can't really take as much action on this or be as effective if you don't spend the money. Like for instance, I've known, I'll just give you an example. A few, like a month or two ago, I did a video talking about Tony Robbins, who's awesome, and I went to his business mastery program. I spent like $10,000 to go to this program, and it was 5 days, okay? That's $2,000 a day to sit in on this event. And I would say I probably knew at least 60 or 70% of the concepts that they went over, but I wasn't applying them. I had learned them from downloading videos of Tony Robbins seminars and other things and listening to audiobooks. I'd learned them online by going through this stuff. And I knew it. And some of the stuff I tried to do or whatever, but I never really took serious action on it. Then I went to this course and I learned the same stuff again. But just the fact that I spent the money, it's making me freaking go crazy and work like crazy. I wouldn't have started this YouTube channel had I not gone to the course. I wouldn't be doing half the things that I'm doing right now. I changed our entire business around. Even though I knew the concepts, I just didn't feel compelled to change them until I spent the money. Now somehow I'm waking up early every day, going to sleep late, and working way more efficiently and effectively and harder, and I'm much more motivated just because I dropped 10 grand on something and my unconscious mind is like, A, my business is worth it, and B, I want to go do something about it so I didn't waste all the money. That's a reason that you need to spend the money, because it's going to tell you unconsciously to take your career seriously. And you're going to start making all kinds of decisions and taking action on things that maybe you knew about before, but you weren't doing. And that, not just the headshot itself, that other action that you take is what's going to completely change your career. Okay? So trust me on that. It's really important. Now, to get back to where we were, let's just talk briefly on what goes through the mind when a casting director is looking at an unprofessional photo. Okay, so here we go. I have a picture. It's a picture that, let's say, your friend took who has a nice camera. Okay, this person, they look like they could potentially play the role, but the problem is they don't really have a professional photo, so they're probably just starting out or they're not very experienced. I don't really know if I want to take a chance on bringing them in for an audition because we have a busy day that day. We already have like 50 other actors. You know, maybe I'm just going to put them to the side. Maybe I'll come back to them. Okay? That's something that goes through the mind. Additionally, they could be looking at it and be like, well, you know, they don't really have a professional shot. Maybe they don't take their acting career seriously. Or, you know, they don't have, it looks like their friend took a photo. I hope that, you know, if they're that cheap with their career or they care that little about their career, that they're not going to care that little about our film, you know, or not put the effort in to make the film or really do the acting right. I know it sounds crazy, but these are the things that go through people's heads. I've had it happen. I get submissions. I'm a filmmaker. I get people submitting to me for auditions and stuff. And when people send me unprofessional headshots, I automatically assume that they don't take things seriously and they're not going to be responsible and reliable and easy to work with. So why would I bring them in for an audition? And the funny thing is, I've found that people who I bring in for auditions who don't have professional headshots actually don't take their career seriously and they're late for the audition, or if I do bring them on for a small project, they're really challenging to work with. That fact alone should be enough to make you decide to get a professional headshot, because it's like if casting directors and agents and stuff are seeing actors all the time who are not professional and they don't have a professional headshot and then they act really poorly, they're going to automatically be like, well, it's just another one of those types of people. Even if you are the most responsible person in the world, they're going to assume that you're not, okay? Now, the worst case scenario is to just use a picture that, you know, you crop yourself out of. That's just really, really bad and really embarrassing. And doing something like that could get you put up on what's called the wall of shame for the casting director's office. They literally have a wall where they post all the different headshots of actors that are really unprofessional and do something that's completely out of industry norms. It's almost offensive to a casting director to send them a photo of yourself that's not taken by a professional headshot photographer. It says to them that you don't care enough about them and you don't care about the acting industry that they are a part of enough to even pay money for it. You know, it's just, you can really offend some people when you send that out, and you'll get added to the wall of shame. So trust me when I say you need a professional headshot, and if you're gonna hire a photographer, you need to hire someone who specializes in headshots. Just a teeny bit of promotion about us, City Headshots. We work with photographers throughout the entire country, and we're starting to work with photographers in other countries as well, that we verify and make sure will do a great headshot for you that works within the acting industry. So if you're not sure who to hire and you want a good price, feel free to check out cityheadshots.com and we can answer any questions that you have. I can also email with you directly if you're not sure on, you know, whether a photographer is someone that you would want to work with. I can tell you, you know, just based on seeing their reviews and things, whether they're someone reliable. But this is all a topic for another video. For now, we're just talking about the importance of a headshot if you're an actor. So hopefully this has been helpful. If you have any tips or ideas or advice for other actors below, if you're experienced and you do have advice or, you know, thoughts to share about your professional headshot and why you think other actors who are up and coming could use one, please do leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and I always try to respond and get back to people right away. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We've got new videos coming out all the time. And live with purpose.